Hi everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm Aisha and welcome to Balanced Minds. Today we're going to talk about cyberbullying and how it affects people, how it starts, what platforms it's on and things like that, and what can you do if you know someone who's going through this. So I'm just going to sort of like start the slides now, and let's talk about cyberbullying. I hope everyone's all right. I hope everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, give me a wave or thumbs up, whichever. And we will start with the cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is across all different platforms. I will talk about the impact and the forms, who's affected by this. So I will be discussing what cyberbullying is, where it occurs, what kind of impact on individuals, different forms of cyberbullying, as it affects people of all ages, and steps to take if you or someone you know is dealing with cyberbullying, because cyberbullying is quite a big thing at the moment. So it's nice to get some info about cyberbullying, a bit of the background. I'm going to talk a little bit about the background and how it all starts. Cyberbullying existed primarily on computers only, connected to the internet. In 1998, this was done, as it was only affordable for a few households. However, now about 90% of households can access the internet, because it's been able to be cheaper to get internet, because internet you've got to do for everything just lately, which is becoming an essential in everyday life. Cyberbullying is present across various digital platforms connected to the internet. So this could be included computers, mobile phones, tablets, gaming consoles, and even smartwatches. Cyberbullying manifests in different ways, including spreading rumors, disclosing personal information without consent, and sending abusive messages. The impact of cyberbullying can be severe, leading to emotional stress, social isolation, and physical harm. It is critical for everyone to be aware of this issue and take the necessary steps to prevent and address cyberbullying. As you can see, what type of platforms cyberbullying can occur on. There's social media, Facebook, things like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, even messaging apps like WhatsApp, Messenger, Telegram, and iMessage. But it can also be on online gaming committees such as Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and streaming, and even emails, and blogs, because emails can send harassing messages or leave abusive comments on blogs. So it's a massive wide range that can be affected, the platforms on cyberbullying. Studies of relatively that 79% of children and young adults who have been on YouTube have encountered instances of cyberbullying, while 50% of young adults and adults on Facebook have also faced such abuse. Additionally, there has been studies stating that the 64% of cyberbullying victims are associated with TikTok. Now, I know TikTok is a new thing, fairly new. I wouldn't say new, but fairly new. And there's been about 69% of cyberbullying with Snapchat. These experiences have led to about 80% of affected individuals contemplating suicide or experiencing depressive thoughts, which is really sad to think, because realistically, words hurt, and a lot of people don't think about stuff like that. Regrettably, cyberbullying often induces a higher incident of suicidal intention when contrasted with traditional bullying. For example, traditional bullying years ago, never heard of cyberbullying. It would be like bullying in the playground, bullying at work, college, universities, when there was no computers or internet. But now there's astonishingly about 90%, which is a big number, 90% of cyberbullying incidents manifest within online gaming communities, primarily in game or and involving expressions of racism and hate speech. Bullying is a big thing. I mean, people don't realize that people who hate, who don't like the look of you, they'll start, bullying you, calling you names and God knows what. And that's not right. I think that's really, really wrong. I mean, I know a few people who have gone through cyberbullying, and it is hard to sort of basically get the help that you need. However, now police take it quite seriously, but there's many people that's been said, oh, life will be so much better if you were dead and all this, and it's so wrong. It really is. And I do feel for the people who suffer with cyberbullying, and I kind of it's not nice to go through anything like this, I just hope this can help somebody. And if it helps somebody, then I'm all for it. Here is a question and answer part. And this is the perfect time if you have any questions about cyberbullying so far. as we will go into more depth, but I'm going to spend about 5-10 minutes on this just in case anybody has any questions. If you do have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, or you can private message me. That's totally fine. And I'll answer as much as I can if someone would like to answer a question about cyberbullying at the moment, because we do need to stop this cyberbullying. It's really wrong. But it's just heartbreaking. The cyberbullying, I mean, you never heard of it years and years ago. But since computers have come in and the internet is taking over, we do hear a lot about it now. I mean, I think a lot of parents need to know about cyberbullying, because I had a daughter who went through cyberbullying herself, and it is hard trying to sort of like get the help that she needed. I've tried to advise her to ignore them. It's sometimes that is the best way. And screenshotting the information is another way. And this was when she was still in high school. I think schools need to be really up there with the cyberbullying, because it's just so wrong. And I just don't like the fact that, it's another form of, I hate bullies. Bullying is a horrible thing. It's bad enough when your child, or when you're at work and you get bullied face to face, that's hard enough. But to do it on a screen, that's even harder. And I do really want to sort of like make sure that people know about bullying, because especially cyberbullying, because it's a big, massive thing at the moment. It really is. And hi, Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine, you was the daughter of myself, and it is heartbreaking, because some people don't realize, and that's correct. People start self-harming, and it's wrong. Nobody should have to go through that, because I don't know how else to sort of like get the release from cyberbullying. And they start believing the words of the cyberbullying. When they turn around and say, oh, you're better off dead, no one cares about you, your mom's this and your mom's that, or your dad's this and your dad's that. And it's like, that's so wrong. But the child at the time doesn't know who to turn to, or even the adult don't know who to turn to. But it needs to be stopped. It really does, because a lot of people don't realize that, words hurt, really do, and they don't realize at all. So no one's got any questions at the moment, but that's totally fine, because you can have a look at some questions at a later time and then sort of like do it that way, but that's fine. And now I'm going to share a couple of videos. That's very true, Phoebe, very true. I'll show this one. And that's true. It is heartbreaking when some people start harming themselves just because of cyberbullying. And I'm glad that I helped you get through that, Phoebe, which I did. It was a hard thing to get through. very true, Phoebe. Very true. So are a couple of videos that I would love to share with you. They're only short videos, but I think they could be helpful and eye-opening for everyone. So I'm going to mute myself, and then I'll share my screen. One moment. I hope you all enjoyed that little video. There is going to be one more little video that I'm going to show you, and this one is to do with words, how words can help, can hurt you and things like that. Hi Sherry, how you doing? Hope you're all right. I hope you can hear me as well.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share another little video, and this one is how words can hurt, because a lot of people don't realize words do hurt. And this can be, you know, through everything. This is the one. So here goes. I hope you enjoy. That was definitely an eye-opener, wouldn't you say? I mean, a lot of people would listen to all the hatred words that are being said to them, and it's so wrong, because you're not going to help. You're not going to please everyone. You've got to be happy within yourself. You shouldn't listen to things like that, but there is people that do listen to it, and that's why I say words do hurt. So here we go. Here now we're going to talk about a little bit more of cyberbullying. We're going to be talking about the impact, and the impact of cyberbullying can have an emotional and psychological effect on all individuals. This can lead to mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, feelings of isolation, because they listen to these things that people are saying to them and they don't want to leave the house, they don't want to go out. If the individual is at school, college, university, or even work, their performance may decline and they could start avoiding attendance. Additionally, a person who is usually outgoing, social, may suddenly disconnect from their social circles. So, you've got to be careful on how you deal with cyberbullies, because it is an emotional time for the victims. You know, if they're in work or school or college or university, if they're doing really well and then all of a sudden their grades start declining, this could be a sign of cyberbullying. Social isolation, that's a big thing, especially if they cancel at the last minute, or they can't no, I'm not going to go out anymore and all this, and they stay in a lot. It can be a sign of cyberbullying. So please take note, and especially if you know someone who's going through this, I'm hoping this will help somebody, because that's why I do these lives, to be honest, to help people, to educate people, because some people don't know about it. Some people do and some people don't. Some people are in the middle, but I'd like to educate a lot of people about different things. I mean, cyberbullying can be all different parts. It can even happen through a parent being alienated from their child. That can happen as well. So, and gaslighting, because gaslighting and cyberbullying is kind of a similar way, apart from gaslighting is manipulation. Cyberbullying, I suppose it's the same. However, it's basically horrible things said to you. So here's the different types of forms of cyberbullying. And, you've got to be aware of various forms of cyberbullying, such as harassment, cyber stalking. If you've ever heard of cyber stalking, it's where someone will carry on following everything you do on Facebook or on social medias, or if they know where you're going to be, they'll come and stalk you that way. And outgoings, these can occur through computers, mobile phones, and even smartwatches, because smartwatches are connected to your phones. So it's something to be aware of, and the best thing to be aware of it is, sorry, I've gone forward a bit more. You know, you've got to not post. If people are posting hostile, angry, and insulting messages in public forums or in groups, that's why a lot of groups that are on Facebook and things like that have rules to go by. Because as soon as there's any form of insulting, horrible messages or anything like that, they're banned from that group. You know, I have a group on Facebook called Balance Mind. And on that, I have a set of rules. If I see any horribleness going on, I automatically delete them from the group and block them from the group so they can't rejoin, because life's too short for all the horribleness that's in the world today. You know, it's really, it's messed up. I mean, a lot of people have sent like rude messages, insulting messages, offensive. You know, they've even, outgoing is like sharing someone's personal information or private information without their consent. And it's so wrong. Hi, Jordan. Wow. Yeah. And Jordan's put, I have been harassed by my ex-friend dad by calling me. No caller ID, saying horrible things to me. And I have told the police and they haven't done anything and the calls still go on. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that, Jordan. To be fair, keep on at the police. If you can, there is a way that if you don't say nothing, right, answer the call, but try and record it, because there's a record button on your phone in the settings at the top. If you can click that while they're on call, maybe, you know, then you've got your proof, that part of your proof. Okay, there's no caller ID. However, you might have, obviously, voice, they might be able to do voice recognition or something like that, Jordan. I mean, I really hope that helps. But if not, keep going on at the police. Trust me, they've got to take this serious. And this is why I absolutely want to educate people with this, because harassment is horrible. Hi, KJ. And yes, some people do racist comments and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. But this needs to be sort of like out there, because, you know, it's really bad. I hate any form of bullying. I really do. Yes, 100%. Racism is a big on and offline thing. So yes, it is really bad. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I totally understand. Yeah. Awareness definitely needs to be out there. And that's one of the reasons why I do these lives, is so there's like awareness out there of all the different things that's going about, because a lot of people didn't know what alienation was, parental alienation. And it's when the other person stops the child from seeing the other parent. And I have done a live on that. So if you ever want to go to that and check that out, that's not a problem. I've done one on gaslighting because a lot of people didn't know what gaslighting was. So I've done one for gaslighting as well. But you can check both of them out. They're all uploaded, and you know, it is all about awareness. It really is. I mean, cyberbullying especially, they need to talk about that in schools, colleges, high schools, even primary school, because it happens with young age as well. Not just us adults and young adults. It happens to 8, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, because the internet is a big thing and it's taken over, you know. My next one is I'm going to share 2 pictures, and I'd like you to study them pictures. Right, let's take a moment to look at these pictures and reflect on what they mean to you. Take about 5 minutes to think about it. Then we can share, you know, share your thoughts in the comments on what you think, you know, what these pictures mean to you and how it reflects, because it's really important. But we're only going to take about 5 minutes, so you know, why not? Let's do that. Yes, social media is the biggest killer on the internet. Yep, no doubt about it. It really is. So, has anybody got any questions, or what do people think about these pictures that I've shared? Well, hi CJ. You don't have to be sorry. Oh, that happens. Internet playing up. Yeah, that's fine. You should be able to hear me because everyone else can hear me straight. So does it make a person who is, I wouldn't say it makes a person, I would say the person behind the keyboard who hides behind the keyboard is really, you know, devious, and they can't do it to your face, so they'd rather do it, they're evil, so they'll do it through, you know, keyboards and phones. And yeah, that's correct. They do. People can't face saying shit to the faces, and they rather do it behind a keyboard. Yeah, totally get it. And Jasmine agrees. And it's sort of like, it's like keyboard wars, and it's stupid. You know, I hate any type of bullying. And yeah, more than likely, people who are being bullied 9 times out of 10, or 9 times more likely to commit suicide. And people don't think about that when they do stuff like this. Yes, they definitely do, Jordan. They also can make fake accounts. Yes, I've had quite a few fake accounts from my friends and family, and they've had to tell me, look, that wasn't me. So yeah, totally get that as well. You know, and it's wrong, especially when it's friends and family. You know, it's really, really wrong. But that's the way they are, and it's because they're too afraid to do stuff to your face. So they think they're big enough to do it behind a keyboard or a phone or a game console. Anything to do with the internet that's connected to the internet, and you get harassment, cyberbullying. No doubt about it. Anyway, let's move on. If you do have any other questions, not a problem. You can carry on asking, and I'll try and answer them as much as possible. Our next slide. And this one, who it affects. Who's affected by cyberbullying? Now, cyberbullying has a significant impact on individuals, get this, aged 8 years old and above, and extending, if it's not dealt with when they're young, it also goes into adulthood. Studies have revealed that 20% of children and 55% of adults have encountered cyberbullying at some stage in their lives. Research has also stated cyberbullying with severe effect, including, like I say, suicide across all age groups. Because there's been times where even children from the age of 10 upwards, you know, commit suicide. And it's so wrong because they're not being listened to, or they don't know who to turn to. And this is why it needs to be said in schools as well, you know. And notable individuals identifying as LGBTQ have been found to confront a heightened prevalence of cyberbullying. This is indicated by recent studies. You know, the LGBTQ have been confronted by all this as well. They've had it hard as well with the cyberbullying. No bullying is any good at all, no matter what. Bullying is wrong. You know, let's have a look. My mate CJ says, my mate committed suicide all because a dickhead person said, hope you die, because I'll stab you in front of your family. I mean, it's wrong. Where's social media doing their checks? Totally agree, CJ. Totally agree. It is so wrong. And that's what I'm saying. That hope you die. That's words that hurt, you know, and things like I stab you in front of your family. That's words that hurt, that really hurt. especially for your mate. That I am so sorry to hear about your mate committing suicide. It's so wrong. It really is so wrong. And I think they are doing a lot of checks. However, I don't think they're doing enough checks to do all this. It is just wrong. Jordan, my ex-friend dad said that he going to stab my dad in his tummy, and my dad has got a tear in his tummy and he nearly died. What fuck now? Sorry to hear that, darling. I really am. But I hope he's okay now. You know. That's just heartbreaking. Even grown ass men are fucking, what is wrong with people? Do you know what I mean? So wrong. Yeah. Bullying is fucking horrible. Absolutely horrible. I hate it with a vengeance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will share a little bit about myself here. I too was bullied as a child. From the age of 8. I was bullied for the way I looked. Because I was a skinny girl when I was a kid. I had big ears. I used to be called Dumbo. My legs were quite skinny, so I used to be called Carrot Legs. I mean, yeah, words do hurt. I mean, at the time, I just tried to brush it off because I was only 8. However, it followed me to high school. But because I kept myself to myself, that's why I got bullied as well, because I was quiet. And I kept reporting it to my head of house at the time. And the head of house, after so long, they did expel them from school. However, it didn't stop there. Unfortunately, I was 15 years old. I'd got them all expelled, right? It was boys and girls I got bullied by. However, when I was 15, my mum asked me to pop to the chippy to get, chippy for tea. And I did. But however, I went through a shortcut and it was through a park. And every single one of the ones that was there that I got expelled from school was there. And I tried to ignore them and carry on walking, even though they were shouting abuse at me. But they ended up getting me in the end. I was kicked, I was punched, I was hair pulled, hit, everything you can name it. I was basically on the floor. I tried to cover my head as much as possible, but I kept shouting out for help. No one would help me. And you imagine there was a gang of, got to be in about 10, and it was boys and girls, all different sizes. But I got the police involved because if it wasn't for my neighbour at the time who was walking his dog, I don't think I'd be here now, because the way they were kicking me in the head, the wrong place in my head, I'd end up being dead, especially in the temple. So that's one of the reasons why I hate bullies. However, it's made me the person that I am now, and I'd like to help people, through shit like this. Took them to court and everything. Police took photos of all the bruises that I had, because I had some behind my ear, some on my jaw, thigh, because I was being kicked as well. So, but yeah, And nowadays, it isn't all about punching now. A lot of them are carrying weapons. It's like, what is wrong with people? You know, they're carrying either knives or they're carrying guns. And it's like, what the F is going on? You know, and I have to say it like that because I don't want to be kicked off my live. But yeah, it's really bad. But I am who I am today, and you know, I know what it's like to be bullied. So this is why I want to try and help other people as well. I've always taught all my kids the same thing about bullying. Um, so you know, I thought I'd just give you a little glimpse of me, but it's not so bad now, but it has made me the person I am today, to be honest. But let's go on to the next slide. Right. Now, here's some steps you can take if you are facing in this situation. You know, the best thing to do is you've got to follow these steps. The best thing to do is number one, do not respond immediately because you will probably say something that you might regret. But if you avoid it, it's perfect because you're not going to say something that you regret. Number two, take screenshots as evidence, especially if they're sending you messages. You know, always take screenshots, even emails as well. Screenshots. You can even do screenshots on your gaming console. Screenshot every single message from that person. Because if you don't, they'll delete the messages and then it's your word against theirs. And that's wrong. Number three, report the situation on the platform where it occurred and block the user. For example, if it occurred on Facebook, report it to Facebook. If it occurred on Snapchat, if it's occurred on TikTok, report it. Once you've reported it, you can still block that person, but you can still screenshot the messages as well because the messages won't delete. It won't delete your end. The only time it will delete your end is if you delete the messages. So always make sure that you report it because you can still report it to PlayStation and also Network and also Xbox Live. You can report it that way as well. But always report it. Number four, seek the support you need. Really speak to somebody that you trust. Speak to somebody that you think can help you, especially someone that you trust. If it's someone you trust, speak to them and they may be able to help you in the right direction. And number five, contact the police, but then also provide them with the evidence you have. Because cyberbullying is a crime and people don't realize that it is actually a crime, but it is. So you've got to make sure you follow these steps because these steps have got to help someone. They really have. And here are some resources that will help. So you can go to Victim Support, Young Minds, they will help. Cyber Smile, they will help with adults as well. Ditch the Label, that's another organisation that they help. You can report it to them and they will help you. These are very, you know, click on any one of these or even type it in and it will give you the information you want and the information you need. You know, I really do hope that this has helped somebody, and I hope it's sort of like it gives you some insight of where cyberbullying can happen. But this will be uploaded um, once the stream's ended, so you can go back to it anytime. But yeah, and all is well. Thank you so much for joining me. I really thank every single one of you that's joined me today, and taking the time to listen. Everyone's welcome to inbox me with any questions you have. Not a problem. I just want to say once again, thank you for watching, because without you guys, this would be like, this is everything to me, because I like to educate people and I like to help somebody as much as I can. So anytime you want, you can book sessions with us now if you want. That's totally fine. But thank you so much for watching and listening and taking part. It takes a lot for some people to take part, and you know, you don't realize. But thank you so much, and all the best. And I will see you soon. So bye for now, and hope you have a lovely day. Thank you for watching. This is Aisha from Balanced Minds. Thank you so much. Bye.